What's up, everyone? Imagine opening your eyes in an eternal nightmare where every step echoes in a foggy hell, dragging a giant blade that seems to scream louder than your own demons. And the weight of your destiny is a trauma so brutal, it makes hell itself seem like a poorly designed game tutorial. Prepare yourself for the absolute terror of discovering how horrible it is to be born as Pyramid Head. One mistake and you lose a piece of your rusty armor. Or worse, your dessert, which is a tasteless protein goo like a failed protein shake at the gym, but with a hint of creature snot. Have fun learning how to handle your knife while listening to incredibly low survival rate stats. It sounds like the motto of the Carrasco School. Get good or die trying. And then comes the big day, your rite of passage, that fun trip the elders send you on, like a cultural exchange to the silent hill of hell. But the only exchange is you trying not to get shredded by sharp claws or torn apart by some grotesque aberration like a failed Freddy Krueger versus Jason crossover. You and a squad of other promising youngsters, read noobs with inflated egos, are dropped into a corner of the nightmare that makes Star Wars' Mustafar look like an all-inclusive resort. The objective? Bring back a decent trophy, like the head of a super OP creature or a piece of the psyche of a victim who refused to accept their guilt. And the main course of this nightmare buffet? Obviously the monsters, those aberrations with sharp claws and the trashy habit of turning you into minced meat or dragging you into the darkness, like a body horror from a Cronenberg film. You finally get your mask. Cool, huh? Now try to see something that's not right in front of you. Peripheral vision? That's for losers who play on easy mode. And the stench in there, after a week of hunting in the humid fog without a shower? Let's just say it smells worse than a post-gym locker room. Nothing like the scent of victory. It's the smell of rust, old blood, and the desperation of its victims. And the fog, this blessing of the nightmare, works most of the time as a cloak that hides your movements, but it glitches right when a nurse with a rusty knife is drooling on your neck, or an annoying human, like a James Sunderland, is about to own you. Surviving the rite? That's a huge if, like winning the lottery while being struck by lightning in Fortnite. Congratulations, you're now a complete executioner. You can actually wield the great knife and go on real hunts. And what does that mean? Traveling through the nightmare's distorted dimensions in cramped, rust-filled corridors with other pyramid guys who reek of guilt and old metal, all to find forgotten corners of the human psyche in cursed places, because hunting in a chill place with a mild climate is as mainstream as enjoying boy bands. And the hunts? Oh, the hunts, the core of your pathetic existence. You spend months tracking prey that half the time is too smart, too tanky, or just lucky enough to have a James Sunderland around. Remember him? That guy who makes you question the meaning of your existence and turns you into mere representation of guilt. Yeah, he and his victims are the kind of easy prey who turn you into target practice or make you feel the pain you should inflict. What a humiliating thing for an executioner of your elite. And the trophies? Your domain becomes a cosmic butcher shop with chunks of meat and monster remains hanging around like a Halloween decoration gone wrong. Cleaning it up must be a nightmare. And the bureaucracy at Otherworld Customs with a bag full of bones? I declare 3 lying figure skulls, 2 nurse blades, and 1 abstract daddy head, slightly deformed. Good luck explaining it to the reality guards. The executioner's famous code of honor? Oh, that's a plot twist in itself. Don't attack unarmed or sick prey unless they tilt you hard. Respect valiant foes and take their heads as a prize. Complicated rules full of loopholes that would make a sci-fi lawyer tilt. And if you accidentally screw up, like trip and your great knife goes off on a cute space kid, congratulations! You've become a dishonored executioner, an outlaw. And who's hunting you? Your former hunting bros. What an efficient rehab system, like a permanent ban on Discord.
And the diet? The pyramid guys aren't Michelin-starred chefs, bro. The basics are hunting, eating raw, and still moving, like a horror ASMR. No epic barbecue or space feijoada, just protein, and goo that tastes like rusty metal and the bitter taste of guilt. Not to mention their arch rivals, the monsters of Silent Hill. Those perfect killing machines that are a pain in the ass. Hunting them is the Pyramid Guy's #1 extreme sport of nightmares, with a mortality rate that would bankrupt insurers faster than a crypto scam. You enter a dark, slimy pyramid or an abandoned hospital full of nurses ready to attack you. Chances of getting out of here in one piece? Less than finding a vegan executioner at a vegan fest. And a social life? Zero. Zilch. Interactions only in training, where everyone wants to kill you. Group hunts, where they steal your loot and use you as bait. Or bloody turf wars. Romantic? Not even in the metaverse. Years pass. You've stacked respectable skulls. Your jaws won't close properly because of a blow from a stubborn Terminator-like human. Your fog is now a glitchy light disk, exposing you at the worst timing. You're old, tired. Your aim with the great knife is trashy. Hitting a space corridor has become a challenge. Then, in a hunt you thought was easy to farm, everything goes up in smoke. Maybe smart monsters like Skynet, or humans with OP-rated tech who don't want to become wall art, or just that muscle dude with the Austrian accent who refuses to die and flips the script. You're wounded. The fog has failed. The great knife stuck in a random monster. Your foe is down for the finishing blow. What does a proud executioner do? Activate the self-destruct wrist device. Of course, if you don't win, nuke everything. An explosive philosophy, terrible for neighbors, like a nuclear rage quit. What a trashy life you have. Being an executioner is grinding in a death match with a gross diet, tech that glitches in the clutch, and a high chance of ending up as acid splatter on an abandoned ship or a personal nuke. Ending like this, how horrible it is to be born as a pyramid head. I'll wait for you as a next hopeless spawn and in the next vid. What does a proud executioner do? Activate the self-destruct wrist device. Of course, if you don't win, nuke everything. An explosive philosophy, terrible for neighbors, like a nuclear rage quit. In that last instant, with the enemy closing in for the final blow, the red glow of the device pulsed on your rusty wrist. You feel the energy building, the metallic structure of your body vibrating with the force about to be unleashed. There is no fear, only a dark, twisted satisfaction. The explosion is not just an act of mutual annihilation, it is the only way for an executioner to retire, to break the endless cycle of guilt and punishment. It's the nightmare's ultimate "I'm out," a brutal way of saying enough to an existence that was never truly yours. The pain, the torment, the endless hunt, it all culminates in a hellish flash that consumes everything around it. There is no glory, no victory, only utter annihilation. And so your existence, this symphony of rust and screams, comes to its explosive end, scattering your essence and that of your tormentor throughout the distorted reaches of the otherworld, a cloud of dust and twisted metal that will soon dissipate into mist. Ultimately, being an executioner isn't about being a legendary hunter, an apex predator at the top of the food chain. It's about being a tool, a walking representation of guilt and punishment, condemned to haunt the darkest corners of the human psyche. You are the embodiment of others' suffering, a twisted manifestation of a wrong that isn't yours, but one that you are forced to inflict and relive. It's an eternity of violence with no real purpose, just the cyclical repetition of a nightmare that doesn't belong to you, but that you're forced to enact. Your life is an endless loop of horrors, without the slightest chance of respite, peace, or even a simple, happy ending that any other creature could hope for. It's a self-imposed damnation, or rather, one imposed by the very nature of the nightmare. So, this is the horrible life of being born as a pyramid head. An existence of constant torment, where each victory is merely a new chapter in your own damnation, and the only escape is spectacular self-destruction that leaves a trail of nothingness. It's an endless grind, a nightmare that repeats itself with each cycle of guilt and punishment, and the only certainty is that no matter how strong you are, the nightmare will always catch up with you and consume you one way or another, until only the echo of your pain remains. Ending like this, how horrible it is to be born as a pyramid head. I'll wait for you in the next hopeless spawn and in the next vid.